Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And today I think we will be making a replacement for our flagship car, the Monaco. I know we made it quite recently, but since we didn't think we would keep it that long either way, we will make a new one in this episode of Dufort automobile. And I think instead of going with a family premium like we have usually done, I think we'll go with just premium, because we have more money to get from that. 38 million, no, 380 million to 365. So I think we will go with that. And I have a slight idea of which body we could use, but there are a couple different ones. Now we could use where is it? It was quite far down, the body I was looking at, but I'm not sure if we can use it since it's so old, and we'll probably get a penalty for using such an old body, and it's an hatchback. I quite like this body, and I think it would be fun to make something with it. But so let's try. I think we're going with galvanized steel chassis material, front transverse engine, McPherson strut front, and semi-trailing arm rear. Let's go with an existing engine, and I think we go with probably this one. Or do we go with this one? This one has better economy, and we don't need to make it that cheap. So we go with transverse front wheel drive, manual gearbox, probably a 4-speed, or actually maybe a 5-speed. Open differentials, I think, radial tires and medium compound, no alloy brakes, and solid disc front. And we could go Venta disc on another version. Let's go with a semi-clad under tray and a standard interior. Manual rack and pinion, hydraulic rack and pinion we should do, and advanced 70 safety. Let's go with standard springs. No, let's not do that. Hydro pneumatic. Do we like it? Low comfort, yeah, but we only get an 8% penalty from that, and we don't get any penalty for using an old body. So I think we can use this, because it was either this or we would have used, where is it? We would have used this body. But I think I like this one more, but we'll have a look if it... how bad it is. If it is bad, we might have to change. So let's do a little bit of that. How long do we want it in the rear? Not overly, not that long. Do we want? I think we want somewhere in the middle right there. And where do we put this? We might put that a bit back and put that somewhere in the middle. But actually could you do a little bit of that, and I think that looks pretty good, so let's do that. Now, I don't like this bumper, so I think we will change them out. If we make it transparent, will there be... yes, their body is behind. So let's do the same for the rear bumper, and then we could make our own bumpers. We can have a stripe down there. We will do that. So what's a good color for this? Maybe some blue, or maybe this red. Maybe could work. Maybe green. I think we might actually go with this one. And we have to make the bumpers transparent again. What is this? What? it's a tiny line on the inside of the car. That's a bit weird, and I'm guessing this is supposed to be a chrome strip. And we have that. We could do a three-tone car, although I'm not sure if we will. So let's paint the brake calipers in a different color, because this isn't a very sporty car. So I'd say we will just go with grey, so they don't stick out as much. Otherwise I think this is quite good, and I think we'll... Wait, hold up, we got to remove that trim. I think if we just do this, it goes away. Yes, it does. So I think that's pretty much good, and I think I will start a time lapse, so I don't bore you guys anymore. And I'll see you guys after the time lapse, or you can just skip to the time shown on screen if you do not want to see the time lapse or the building process. So I'll see you guys later. So yeah guys, that was designing the Monte Carlo, is what I decided to call it, because we called the last one Monaco and Monte Carlo, I'd say. Is it just part of Monaco? Is it like expanding across Monaco and France? I'm not too sure. I must know it from the Monte Carlo rally. But I really like how this turned out. This is not the version you saw in the time lapse. This is the MFI Deluxe. So I think it has a luxury interior. No, it's just premium interior and a luxury 8-track. 4 seats. And I think it looks quite nice actually. I did add some louvers in the rear, and I think those fit quite well. They're almost like they're made for this body. Usually they don't line up at all, but they really fit well on this body. But I really like this. I think it looks pretty darn good. But the specs are, I believe it has just the MFI Sport, which I think has around 100. Let's have a look. 190 horsepower. Really bad fuel economy. Pretty low compression, or pretty normal compression at least. It weighs a lot. It has automatic transmission, and it's quite low revving. But I really quite like how this looks, and it's probably not fast at all. Yeah, 10 seconds is fine. But let's go ahead and get this car into production. So getting the Monte Carlo into production, I think we're aiming for about 4 years, so that would be 48 months. So we can do a bit more learning on this, we can do a bit more reliable that, and there we go. That's pretty good, I'd say. Let's do maybe that, because people really like this car. Let's do a bit faster here, and okay, let's maybe do a bit faster right there, and I think that's about good. Maybe like that. But I would really like to hit 48. That's mostly because it's a nice number. There we go. So let's go to Engine Project Manager. We don't need to change anything right there. So what factory do we put it in? The Monaco's factory is already in use. So let's maybe use the V4000, as that will be going out of production very, very soon. And are they really that to work? No, we haven't selected any cars. Let's select those. Are they still there? That is not overworked at all. And I think we can upgrade this to a large 3 maybe. Or maybe a large 2. Like that. That's pretty good. I'm assuming we have Forge Works. It doesn't look like it, but with the wait, it's car factory, so we can't have that. Worker wages, worker quality. I think that's pretty good. Automation. Let's actually put up automation a little bit. Let's put that at 50. Let's put up tooling quality a bit to about 50, and let's put down the QA threshold a little bit. I think that's pretty good. They're still not overworked, and it will be the main car to use this engine. So I think that's about good. So let's use the forecasting tool. This went incredibly fast, so hopefully we can also make a lot of profits. That is not a lot of profits, but it should definitely not be priced this cheap. That is not amazing, but it's fine. We have a lot of money.
Are you sure about that?
Or quite a lot of money at least. I think more than we started out with. So let's complete the design and sign it off. Let's make it a bit longer. 4 to 2 months maybe would be good. It will cost almost $1 billion. That's fine. We did also facelift the Montpellier, as that is getting really old. It's actually exactly 10 years since we designed it, so that one looks like that now. It's quite similar to an Opel Ascona from this time period, but I think it's fine. I do slightly like this one more. And also we have a 2-door version of it now. But let's go ahead and get the Monte Carlo into BeamNG Drive. So here we are in BeamNG with the MFI Eco. I think it looks quite good in BeamNG, although it would look a lot better with better graphics. I just reset it instead of turning on the engine. But let's get going. That's not a very good camera. We don't want to look through the hood or the bonnet. This is a fine camera, but I'd rather play from this one. You can't really feel anything from the steering, but I'd assume that's because of the power steering. Like, you can go a lot like this if you look into the bottom left corner, and nothing really happens. You have to turn at least that much before anything happens at all, so it's not very precise at all. I can just go like this. Nothing happens at all. So that's maybe not very good. It's quite noisy, this car, but I quite like it. It's fine. The throttle response is very good. Like if I just drop a gear. So it has quite good acceleration. Drop it into 5th, cruise a bit. There's quite a lot of road noise right now. Let's hopefully it isn't too loud. I may turn it down a little on before the next clip, but I think it's totally fine, except for the steering. How is it? Well, it isn't extremely fast, you know. You don't really need anything faster. How is it if I do this? If I try get it to drift a bit. It's possible. And quite easy to save. Except for when you do that. But I'll get into one of the more premium versions, and I'll see you guys in a couple seconds, or about a minute for me. So here we have the deluxe version, the MFI DL, which has an automatic, so we'll see how the automatic works, if it's good or not. I didn't fix a good camera for that, but we can use the interior camera. I quite like the gauges. I think they look pretty good. Very 80s, I'd say. I think this was a pretty good choice. This one has the blue interiors and the blue exterior with the white trim on the side. What happens if we go down here? And I noticed that the handbrakes works very poorly. Probably because it's a 4-wheel drive car and not the rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So that's probably the reason why. Let's try to rally it a bit, even though it has an automatic. Ooh. Doesn't brake very easily, except I think we should be stuck at least, or maybe. Maybe. There we go, let's go down here. I mean, it works quite well though. How far can we jump? That's very good. My father called it moon gravity in BMG. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but maybe it is. But I think this is fine. Where can we get back to the road? I'd like to get onto some asphalt and not scrape it more. Think right here. Is this possible? Yes, there we go. Asphalt. And maybe we can do some more railing in the next version. I think we have damaged the steering quite a bit. This is a little more oversteer, I think. Yep. So let's get into the sport version, or the super sport. So I'll see you guys then. So now that we have a good hood camera, I will immediately switch out of it and show you this car. This is the Super Sport, which you can see is written here in that's supposed to be silver, but it turned out to be chrome. It sounds pretty American, I'd say. The engine, but I'm probably wrong. So let's shift into first and turn onto this gravel. Now let's drive it a bit on asphalt first. It's quite fast. Yeah, that does not work. It is really fast. Fitting of the Super Sport badge. And I almost kept it together, though not really, because we bumped into something. So let's blame the car for that. Until we find a good gravel road. I believe if we turn down here and onto here, we'll find one right there. It was quite some time since I last rallied or used the wheel, so we'll see how well it goes. Seems to be quite straight here. Pretty hard to see where the road is going. So I have to use the minimap quite a lot. It drives really well actually, even though it's so large. I really like it. Although due to the four-wheel drive we can't drift a lot, or it's very hard to. Ooh. And we flipped it back onto the road, but I think we should probably stop quite soon. How is it if you just cruise? I mean, it's fine. I'd say it looks quite nice. Oop. And we spun it somehow while going in at 52 kilometers an hour. But I think that's a pretty good place to end the video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. I certainly did making it. And I hope I'll see you next time. But until then, bye.